Hello everyone, SoberOni of G&Day Reviews here with an event guide for the new Christmas 2019 event in Fate Grand Order NA, Merry Christmas in the Underworld. Just like with all my event guides, this is going to be very thorough, covering everything from the new event craft essences to the best farming strategies. So to help you guys out, I have included timestamps in the description below so that you can jump ahead to whichever part of the video you need the most. I should also mention that in order to participate in this event, you need to have cleared the Babylonia Singularity, which is pretty far into the story. So if you haven't completed the story, make sure you get on that right now so that you can join the event. So without further ado, let's get right into it by talking about the new event servants. There's going to be two brand new servants joining Chaldea for this event. One is going to be the welfare servant you get as a reward for completing the event, and the other one is going to be a limited gacha servant. Let's start off with the welfare servant first. We have Altera the Santa. She is a 4-star archer with a max attack of 9,759 and a max HP of 11,637. She has a single target quick noble phantasm, and she functions well as both a support and as a damage dealer. And if you'd like a more complete look at her, I do have a full-on servant spotlight for her linked in the description down below. Next up, we have the limited gacha servant, Arish Kegel. She is a 5-star Lancer with a max attack of 10,343 and a max HP of 16,065. She has an AoE Buster Noble Phantasm and works very well as a farmer and offensive support. Just like with Altera, I have a full-on servant spotlight for Arish Kegel linked in the description down below. On top of those two new servants, we'll also be getting a banner that features rate-ups for existing servants. Those servants include the 5-star Saber Altera, the 4-star Medusa Lancer, and the 4-star Caster Gil. Overall, this is a pretty decent banner. Caster Gil is an excellent pickup if you need a good support caster, and Altera isn't bad either if you need a solid Saber. But with the servants done, let's take a look at some new craft essences. Just like with most events, we're going to be getting 4 new event craft essences. 3 are going to be available in the gacha, while 1 is going to be purchasable from the event shop. Starting off with the gacha craft essences first, we have the 3-star Snow Pirates. It applies Evade for 1 time and grants 1 crit star per turn. It also increases the hollow candle drops by 1, and if you max limit break it, it's going to grant 2 crit stars per turn and increase candle drops by 2. Outside of the event, this is a niche craft essence that can be used on taunters like Mosh, Leonidas, and George, who you can swap in to eat an enemy noble phantasm. Moving on up, we have the 4-star Party Time craft essence. This increases a servant's quick and buster card effectiveness by 8% and their crit strength by 5%. It'll also increase corpse spell drops by 1. If you max limit break it, it's going to increase quick and buster card effectiveness by 10%, crit strength by 10%, and bell drops by 2. This is a strong craft essence for quick buster crit servants like Okita and Ku Prototype. And finally, the last gacha craft essence is Starry Nights. It's a 5-star craft essence that increases buster card effectiveness and crit strength by 10%, and it also increases your NP gauge by 40% at the start of the battle. For the duration of the event, it's also going to increase your Snow Baby drops by 1. If you max limit break it, it's going to increase buster card effectiveness and crit strength by 15% and your noble phantasm gauge by 50%. It'll also increase Snow Baby drops by 2. This is an excellent craft essence for all buster crit servants, including Gil, Rama, and Nobu. And the last craft essence of the bunch, which is going to be purchasable from the event shop, is the 5-star Merry Sheep. This craft essence increases quick and arts card effectiveness by 8% and grants 3 crit stars per turn. It also increases the Sands of the Underworld drop amounts by 1. If you max limit break it, it's going to increase quick and arts card effectiveness by 10% and grant 4 crit stars per turn, as well as increase Underworld sand drops by 2. This is a nice craft essence to have for any kind of art servants that need crit stars or can act as star generators, so servants like Nursery Rhyme, Osakabe Hime, or the newly acquired Altera Archer. And speaking of shop items, let's take a look at the event shop itself. Right away, you're going to notice that this event shop is a little different than normal. There's going to be 6 different currencies. 5 of these currencies are going to be traded into the shop, while 1 of them is for use in the lottery boxes, which we'll touch upon a bit later. For now, just taking a look at the event shop currencies, we have Hollow Candles, Corpse Bells, Snow Babies, Crystal Reefs, Exchange Ticket of the War Gods, and Sands of the Netherworld, which are going to be for lottery boxes. Starting with the candles first, You can trade the candles in for 1 copy of the Merry Sheep Craft Essence, as well as Horseshoes, Chain of the Fools, Iron Stakes, and some attack and HP foes. The corpse spells can be traded in for another copy of Merry Sheep, as well as Longunos, Magatamas, Lancer, Caster, and Berserker pieces, and a 4-star foe. Snow Babies can be traded in for yet 2 more copies of the Merry Sheep Craft Essence, as well as Hearts of a Foreign God, Tearstones of Blood, Evil Lamps, Lancer, Caster, and Berserker monuments, and 2 more 4-star foes. Reefs are going to be a special item that you can only acquire through the lottery boxes, and you can trade those in at the shop for 4 copies of Altera Archer, as well as Divine Wine, Beast Gallstones, and 500,000 QP. Finally, the exchange ticket of the War God can be traded in for 1 copy of Altera Archer. You're going to notice that all 5 copies of Altera are actually purchasable from the shop. And another thing to point out about the shop is that there's only 4 copies of the Merry Sheep Craft Essence, which means if you plan on max limit breaking this Craft Essence, you actually need to farm for a 5th copy. The Craft Essence can drop randomly from any quest, but it has a very low drop rate, something around 1%. As I mentioned earlier, this is going to be a lottery event, the same as Nerofest. For those of you who are new and not familiar with how lotteries work, these type of events are going to be the most important farming events in the game because they are extremely AP efficient. They allow you to farm infinite resources like Ascension materials, QP, embers, and skill gems. The way they work is you're going to be able to farm a Lotto currency, which in this case is the Underworld Sands, and you can trade 2 of those in for 1 lottery item. There's going to be 300 items per box, and after you clear out the entire box, you can reset it and restock all of the items. And in this way, you can obtain limitless resources. In the case of this lottery system, the first 10 boxes are going to have Friend Points, QP, Crystal Reefs, Homunculus Babies, Ghost Lanterns, Spinal Fluid, Yggdrasil Seeds, 3-star and 4-star experience, Mana Prisms, Bronze, Silver, and Gold Apples, and Blue, Red, and Yellow Skill Gems for every class. In addition, each of the first 10 boxes is going to have 1 grand prize. The first 4 boxes are going to have Santa mustaches. The 5th box is going to have the Ticket of War God. The 6th box is going to have a Crystal Lore. And the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th boxes are going to have 4-star foes. Once you have obtained the grand prize from a lottery box, you can actually reset it. However, I do suggest clearing out the box before you reset. After the first 10 boxes, the 11th box onward are going to have the exact same thing, except no grand prize and no silver or gold apples. However, these boxes are infinite, so you can farm as many as you want. I should also note that the Santa mustache is actually Altera's Ascension item. You're going to need those to max out her level. And as with all Lotto events, I heavily encourage you to use your apples to farm as many lottery boxes as you can. But at the very least, you should aim for 10 boxes so that you can get all of the unique grand prizes. As is the case with most events, this event is also going to have some story missions. There's going to be 8 in total, and they're going to unlock 1 at a time each day. So every day brings a new story mission. However, unlike most events, the story this time around is actually pretty difficult. Considering you need to beat Babylonia to even participate in this event though, that should be expected. I would say that the difficulty for this event story missions are between Camelot and Babylon. There are a couple of battles to be on the lookout for, like a couple of Berserker boss fights, a battle against an Avenger, and there's a couple of fights that require you to just survive for a few turns. However, if you've beaten Babylon, this is absolutely nothing to worry about. They should all be doable missions. I do suggest bringing along BB for that Avenger fight, and bring a strong single target Lancer like Ku for defeating some of the Archer enemies that appear in the story. The most important thing to take away from the story though is once you've completed the 8th and final mission, you'll be able to unlock Altera Archer as a permanent servant. You'll be able to use the exchange ticket from the lottery boxes to get her in the shop, and then be able to purchase additional copies of her with the reefs that you get from the Lotto boxes. So if you do plan on getting Altera as a servant, make sure you complete the story first. But of course, the most important part of any event is going to be the farming. So let's go over how you should farm for the shop currencies and the Lotto currency. First things first, make sure you roll the friend point gacha so that you can get as many copies of the 3-star event CE as you can. This is going to make farming a lot more efficient. Secondly, make sure you purchase the event shop CE Mary Sheep ASAP. You're going to want to get that craft essence as soon as you can. It's the most important thing you can purchase from the shop. However, don't max limit break it. You're going to want to keep that as 4 separate craft essences so that you can maximize the amount of Underworld Sands drops you get from each quest. On that note, there's actually a few servants that you can bring with you to increase the amount of drops you get from each item. For the hollow candles, you can use the Snow Pirates craft essence to increase your drops by 1, or you can also use Altera Saber, Lancer Medusa, Jaguar Man, Benkei, or Leonidas to also increase your drops by 1. You can increase your corpse spell drops by 1 using the Party Time CE, or by using Merlin, Castergill, Paracelsus, and Mosh. Likewise, the Snow Baby drops can be increased by 1 via the Starry Nights craft essence, or with Ereshkigal, Enkidu, Jeanne d'Arc Ultra Santa Lily, Ishtar, Altera Archer, Santa Altar, and Ushiwakamaru. Unfortunately, there aren't any servants that increase the Underworld Sands drops. The only thing that does that is the Mary Sheep craft essence. But now that you know how you should farm for these currencies, let's talk about where you should farm. An important thing to note about the free quests for this event is, just like with the main quest, they're going to be opened one day at a time. So every day we're going to be getting a new free quest, which means you're going to have to wait a few days before the optimal farming spots become available. You shouldn't be going hard farming from day 1. However, once all of these free quests become available, these are going to be the places you want to farm for each of these items. The 40 AP recommended level 75 mission is going to be the best place to farm for hollow candles. You'll notice that there's only berserker enemies in this node. The best place to farm the corpse spell items is going to be in the 40 AP recommended level 80 node, which is going to be all assassin enemies. The best place to farm the Snow Baby item is going to be in the 40 AP recommended level 85 mission, which is going to be all archer enemies. And the best place to farm the Sands of the Netherworld is going to be in the 40 AP recommended level 90 mission, which is going to be all saber enemies. I should also note that there's another location you can farm these Snow Babies at, which is going to be the Wreath mission, which costs 5 crystal wreaths to get into. It does give you a ton of Snow Babies, however I don't recommend doing this mission because you can actually trade in those 5 wreaths for 2.5 million QP, which is just way better. I highly recommend just farming the recommended level 80 quest instead. So just as a recap, you're going to want to farm the Berserker node for the candles, the Assassin node for the bells, the Archer node for the Snow Babies, and the Saber node for the Sands. There's also going to be a few locations where you can farm for some Ascension materials, and I want to give a huge shout out to Lord Ashura as I am taking this from his guide. I'll leave a link down below in the description to his website. I highly suggest you pay it a visit. He puts together some amazing guides for FGO events, so go show him some love. But with that said, here's going to be some of the essential materials you can farm. The 30 AP recommended level 45 quest is going to have Evil Bones and Hero's Proof. The recommended level 50 quest is going to have Ghost Lanterns. The level 55 quest is going to have Snake Gems. The level 60 quest is going to have Bicorn Horns and Horseshoes. The level 65 quest is going to have Dragon Scales and Teeth. The level 70 quest is going to have Magic Lamps and Forbidden Pages. The level 75 quest is going to have Spirit Roots and Octuplet Crystals. The level 80 quest is going to have Hearts of a Foreign God, Magatamas, and Yggdrasil Seeds. The level 85 quest is going to have Wine and Phoenix Plumes. The level 90 quest is going to have Longinose and Stingers. And the quest that costs 5 Crystal Reefs is going to have Evil Bones. So if any of those Ascension items sound interesting to you, those are going to be where you want to farm for them. This event even has its own challenge quest, and in it, Merlin has been captured and used against us. He's teamed up with Lancer Arturia Alter to take us down. And as you can expect, Lancer Arturia has the full range of Merlin buffs available to her. She starts off the battle with an increased crit strength buff, and she has access to Merlin's hero creation, as well as invincibility, and his ability to increase her NP charge. Which means this is going to be a fight where Merlin is just going to buff her to hell. On top of that, when you break Arturia Lancer's break bars, she's going to charge her own NP, so you can expect a bunch of NP spam from her. The main strategy for this fight is going to be keeping Arturia's buffs under control. If you let Merlin stack enough crit buffs on her, she's going to crit your servants into oblivion and can absolutely one-shot them. You're also going to want to bring some protection from her Noble Phantasm as well. However, that said, this fight isn't too difficult. The best strategy is to focus all of your damage onto Arturia herself. Just ignore Merlin. The reason for this is, if you kill Merlin first, then Arturia is actually going to receive a permanent hero creation buff, so you should avoid Merlin at all costs until Arturia is dealt with. I highly recommend bringing a single target saber like Ogita, Nero Bride, Saberlot, Bedivere, or Caesar, or you can bring a servant that has bonus damage against Arturia, like Sieg or Mordred. Any of those servants should be able to take her out very quickly in a single Noble Phantasm if they have enough buffs. You're also going to want to bring a servant that can remove buffs from her, like Ibaraki, Medea, and Jack. That way you don't let her crit damage get out of control. Mosh is also great for mitigating crit damage with her defense buffs, while Jean is going to be your best bet for tanking her Noble Phantasm. Once you take care of Arturia, then Merlin is an absolute pushover. He really can't do anything, so just make sure you're able to completely burst down Arturia. And that about wraps up everything I have to say about this event. Make sure you save your apples until after all the nodes are finished releasing, that way you can be most efficient and farm the best nodes. Make sure you purchase the event craft essence from the shop as soon as possible, but don't max limit break it. And make sure you clear the story quest, that way you get your copy of Altera Archer. This is a straightforward event, so just have fun with it and take your time. If you find it too difficult to farm for the lottery boxes in this event, then I suggest saving some of your apples, as we are going to be having another lottery event very soon, which is going to be a lot easier to farm. So I hope this guide helps, and if it did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you want to catch any of the future guides and servant spotlights. If you haven't already, do follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, and join the party over on our Discord. All of those are linked in the description down below, as are links to the servant spotlights for the servants featured in this event. And until next time, this is Soberoni, signing out. Later.